Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever for a 4v4 cast on the map Diversity, with players ranging from Joes all the way up to pros. And before we get into introducing our players, with Team 1 on the left-hand side and Team 2 on the right, I would like to direct your attention to the buttons down below. Please consider liking, subscribing, joining the channel membership, or super thanksing to help support the channel. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into our player introductions, starting in the north side of Team 1. We have a Cyan Aeon, best faction in color, going by the name of Ikigami. And then down to the south of him, we have a blue Cybran going first land by the name of Yorick. And then we have ourselves a blue Cybran going first land, going by the name of Furcotoya, or Furcotia? Furcotia. And then to the south of him, a purple Cybran. Lots of Cybrans for Team 1, and his name is ATP3. He's gone first land. Let's move on over to Team 2. Starting in the south and moving north, we will start with the yellow Cybran going first land. His name is Wolfic, and he is getting those mexes. As we move up to the north of him, another Cybran. So many Cybrans this game. A red Cybran first land. Name is Luntic 2010. And he's rocking these power generators as we get to our almost last player, but not quite not quite, as we have a maroon Seraphim going first land, and his name is No Anime Lover, and he is enjoying himself some No Anime. As we reach over to the last player of the game, but certainly not least, an orange UEF first land is his factory choice, and his name is Garzonk. And with that out of the way, we have all of our players introduced. We can introduce the map. 15,000 master reclaim. A lot of it along these, a lot of it Akong, apparently. A lot of it along these ridge lines, and a ton of it also here in the middle with some wrecks. We have some dead kind of rhinos here in the middle. We got some dead structures, a stealth generator, and various things to reclaim. And these players probably going to get out and be fighting each other very, very early on. The way the map generally plays out is that the players on the beach kind of decide the game very often. If the player on the beach can survive the early onslaught that the player on this kind of cliff rock position over here can throw out very early, then they can usually get into the Navy and deal some pretty critical damage, especially if they're playing either UEF or Seraphim. But if these players on these two corners, respectively, that I'm hovering over with my mouse, get a foothold and get to start pushing, they have a huge amount of momentum usually and can roll over the other side. That doesn't really help matters, as both of the pros in this game, both of these 1700s are in these positions, which I think are some of the stronger positions on the map. So will be interesting to see how it goes on. We have a little bit of early raiding coming out from some Mantis over here for ATP3. Does have a couple of these out. He's managed to pick up a kill, maybe two, onto some engineers, and he's going to try and get around and kill off some more of these outlying engineers, expanding engineers, and maybe even some of the units. Over here we have the hover of the Aeon being abused, managing to shut down this kind of expansion island for Garzonk and get his own engineer in the area to get some of this natural reclaim. Going to be very happy with this situation is Ikigami, who is now getting T1 bombed, but he is getting his value out of those units, and he's trying to shut down any kind of expansion attempts over there, and maybe even take over the island for himself. As speed and range, our first upgrade on the way now for Furcotoya. I don't know how to say your name. From Furk, our Furkalicious dude over here, building himself a speed and range upgrade. And a few units still trying to raid. Walls queued up over here for our blue Cybran. Not really going to be built in time, as a tank's going to get in. Going to be threatening a few engineers over here. Mantis, always ever so deadly. Am I the only person who still gets fucked up by the fact the Mantis has had its icon changed? Or am I like the only boomer who is still so used to seeing the Mantis as like the assault bot icon instead of the tank icon? It still messes with me. But nevertheless, Because every time I see it, I think it's a striker. I never think Mantis whenever I see that icon. It's been drilled into me over years of gameplay. As many upgrades going on, speed and range on the way now for Luntic 2010. He's relatively far behind our boy Furkalicious, as T2 is on the way for No Anime Lover. And over here to the southeast, we have ATP3 using his comm relatively aggressively, trying to shut down the aggression coming out from Wolfic, not Woltic, Wolfic, who is enjoying himself with that comm and a unit advantage so far. There's also a bit of pressure being placed up here to the north by Ikagami. Ikagami now trying to push on to the orange UEF. Garzonk gonna need to hold the line, needs to be careful with his units and his commander. Relatively far forward, there's a lot of units in the area for Team 1. Could be in a bit of trouble if he doesn't play this very carefully. Needs to make sure he's not just going to eat a whole bunch of damage and have his comm be made useless here within the next couple of minutes. Large run by over here for ATP3, unfortunately going to result in very, very little value. The Mantis are not faster than other Mantis, so eventually these ones should catch up. May be able to get in here and get some of these reclaiming engineers killed off, and maybe even a Mex. He does have one Mantis that's going to seemingly get around the defenses of the yellow Cybran that is Wolfic. He's trying to play this very aggressively, but right now he's really kind of piecemeal. He's kind of, with these run-bys, he's bit his own forces off into little bite-sized chunks and made it very easy for Wolfic to just shut down any kind of large group of T1 he has. So right now Wolfic sitting on a significant advantage as far as overall unit count goes. Meanwhile, in the middle, we have various people getting upgrades. T2 on the way now for Urich and Furkalicious, as we are now calling him, in a gun battle. There is stealth on the comm of Furk, no stealth on the comm of Luntic. So, gonna be enjoying that extra bit of health, 2,000 HP, nothing to scoff at for our Cybran in the center. As down here, speed and range on the way for Wolfic. He's gonna be able to get it. He has a lot of Mantis assisting. He's taking a lot of damage from ATP. He's gonna lose a decent amount of Mantis for this, but overall is going to be able to secure himself that speed and range upgrade, and that's gonna really be a danger for the southern side purple Cybran. Alliteration. Am I right? You feel me? As a assault out from, who is this? Is this is No Anime Lover. Gonna be stopped in his tracks by overwhelming numbers of Mantis and a T2 comm. That comm probably should start building some PD, make that T2 gun, that T2 upgrade worth getting in the first place. Down here to the south, Wolfic now under pressure from Furko and ATP3. I'm having so much trouble with the names this game. Nobody here has a normal name. I want to point that out. Not a single person here other than No Anime Lover, which I have to say No Anime Lover because of YouTube, which makes it harder. Nobody else has a normal name. Everybody else has like some weird conglomerate of consonants and vowels that my brain doesn't like. I'm shaming you for your names. Why can't we just go back to what everybody did when they trolled Guile and called everybody Dave? That'd make my life a lot easier. Over here to the south, large invasion force now out from Luntic. Gonna be making its way into the base of, I believe this is Furko, who is back there with the gun comm. I hate how whenever you get far enough away in cinematic camera, it gives those squares. I wish there was a way to fix it, but I think it even happens on like everybody's version of FAF. It's just a limiter of FAF itself, as we have these Mantis getting in, that Hydro soon to fall, and this overall attack coming out from Luntic gonna be extremely deadly. We have a T2 Mex back here and an energy storage that's almost guaranteed slated to die. A few PD gonna be thrown up in the base of Furko. He's gonna try and shut this down right here and right now. Is it gonna be enough? As Garzonk showing up in the middle, going to be trying to fight off Yorick, who has himself a T2 upgrade, and of course is building Cerberus. Can he build Cerberus fast enough to stop the double gun comm, or actually that's a T2 comm, the gun comm and T2 comm of Garzonk and company. Garzonk and friends. A few Aurora now showing up to help out from Ikigami, our other pro. Wolfic, speaking of pros, pushing back ATP3. ATP3 may be under threat of dying. Lots going on across the map as Wolfic is going to be forcing him either into the water or into the grave. As ATP3 runs for his life, it's going to be all for naught. He's not going to escape the onslaught of this comm against him. He keeps on making minor adjustments in his movement, which means that the comm of Wolfic has a chance to get closer and closer. If he does target priority ACU and has vision of him, he will be able to make this kill happen. He does get to fire a few more shots in the back of ATP3, who lives to fight just one more day, it would seem, as Garzonk is over here trying to put some pressure out towards Ikigami. And in the center, it seems as though those fire-based wars, I know there was a lot going on, but I saw a comm almost died, so I look away. Oh, that's a T2 gunship out from Furco. For some reason, I thought that it was getting a snipe onto Luntic, who is very low on HP, but I think he'll be able to get out as long as the interceptor or two shows up for his team's side. Garzonk forced into the water by the Guncom out from Ikigami. Aeon Guncom getting a little bit more range, about, I think it's 5 units of higher range. This gunship getting a lot of damage onto Luntic may be under threat of death, as Luntic gonna be able to force it away with a couple of interceptors. ATP3 and Furco having a lot of trouble against the combined forces of Wolfic and Luntic. Over here, Nono Anime Lover is having himself a love affair with Cerberus as he walks forward, builds a T1 PD, and just keeps on swagging out, killing off everything in his path. Doesn't have a gun comm, but sure as hell feels like it with how much aggression he's laying into his opposition. Yorick showing up, trying to make something happen, but the Zooey spam making Hentai Lover feel very... Aw, damn it, I slipped up. Well, now we're just going to start saying Hentai Lover. Hopefully 10 minutes into a video is late enough for YouTube to stop listening. As Hentai Lover taking a lot of damage right now. The comm of Garzonk under huge pressure. And in the southern side, there's some pressure coming out from the comms of both Wolfic and Luntic. But Garzonk, I think, going to be our first player to get ejected, as it seems Ikigami just going to show his supremacy. He's going to walk the man down, and we're going to have a very, very dead UEF ASU. As this front over here to the north under huge pressure, the base going to be given over to Wolfic. Will he keep it, or will he hand it over to his Maroon Seraphim ally in the middle, who's making good progress trying to shut down Yorick, but he's on very low HP himself. Wolfic now under pressure. He needs to start winning this side a bit harder. His opposition now pushing into the main base of Garzonk, and now Ikigami needs to start holding his units a bit more aggressively. He should be able to tell with just a little bit of scouting that he has complete land supremacy at the moment. He needs to get out over here and deal some damage before some T2 units come onto the field. Although maybe he's a little bit wary with the T1 bomber spam coming out. Needs to keep the comm alive first and foremost. He is the most valuable player currently for Team 1. As Team 2 continues to try and hold off against Wolfic, but Wolfic under decent threat here. Furco and ATP both relatively dangerous with a comm that low on HP. We have hoplites out on the field. If they can be microed properly by ATP, could be able to slow down Wolfic just enough. Over here in the center, we have some fire basing going on for Furco. He's just trying to stop any aggression coming from this central area. Garzonk claiming GG. The units over here weren't able to be cleaned up. They managed to get into the back of the base, and now Hentai Lover has lost all of his T2 mexes. That's gonna hurt. That is one for the history books, as now we're seeing the absolute depressing levels of damage coming out from this 1700. When he's faced up against two 1100s, he just shows his supremacy, 1v2ing like a boss and getting himself some very, very juicy damage down. If he can manage to kill off this T2 mechs, it would be very nice. But he is taking a lot of fire from Mongoose. Meanwhile, in the southern side of the map, it seems as though Luntic and Wolfic, the Ick-It combo, the Ick-It combo, the Pick-It combo, coming down to wreak their vengeance and wreak their destruction onto ATP's base, it would seem. Furco and ATP looking a little bit light on the land forces with these two gun comms here. There's a lot of threat being provided by Team 2. And Team 1 really needs to just find some footing, find some ground to fight back against Wolfic. If they can manage to hold here, that just means they have to wait for Ikegami to get a serious advantage over here. Ikegami using Overcharge, 4 ranks of veterancy, 5 ranks of veterancy on the comm, but Hentai Lover walked into some T1 PD. He almost got the kill onto Yurik. I wasn't paying attention to the middle because they hadn't really gotten much attacking going on, but he walked into T1 PD and he paid the price. And now Ikegami inheriting another base as Ikegami and Luntic pushing in towards the base of Furco. Furco has a bunch of Cerberus, and he had a bunch of Cerberus, and he had T1 PD thrown up, but the two gun comms don't particularly care as Overcharge is more than enough to deal with him. Wolfic and Luntic pushing in. If they can get these T2 pigeons, this is almost assuredly going to be Furco, if not killed, taken out of the game, but he's going to be eating damage from 2 separate gun comms, and that is not something you want to see if you are a Team 1 fan right now. Ikegami on the northern side, though, making some progress, is slowly dismantling that UEF base as Wolfic and Luntic are slowly dismantling the HP of Furco, and Furco going to go down in a Cybran ball of death. It's gonna be painful for Team 1, but this base most likely handed over to Ikegami now. And ATP3 all alone against 2 gun comms that are basically full HP, 16,000 HP there for Luntic as he's on 4 ranks of veterancy and he has that stealth upgrade giving him more HP. ATP just gonna be walking into the comms, but this is a losing battle. You don't win this. You are guaranteed to die here. Wolfic gonna be playing relatively aggressively, which I'm not sure I agree with. Although he is gonna survive. That could have been very dangerous if the comms had managed to get him low enough for the comm and the units were able to get him down to that 2,000 HP. That could have been their highest rated player dead. And now we're reduced to a 2v2. As in the middle, Yurik picking up that kill on Hentai Lover is extremely critical. Of course, Hentai Lover has this huge amount of PD that's going to have to be dealt with at some point. But he was one of the only players who seemingly had any kind of momentum towards the opposite team other than these players down here to the south. And he was trying to hold off against this, but I guess he did lose his base and it really just set him back. Ikegami has used the comm to completely dismantle his base, nearly 20,000 mass killed, and by the time it's over, it may be just that much onto this base all by himself. If he can get a T1 land factory spammed up, he can get a ton of reclaim. We're looking at 8,000 right here, and he is sitting on an oppressive economy of 188 mass a second versus 59 of Wolfic, who is currently sitting on multiple bases, although that economy is very much so inflated. T3 mexes and T2 mexes is going to be going down in droves down here to the south for Ikegami. He did manage to get a few more upgrades, I would guess, up here. He's been probably throwing a decent amount of the mass from that over here. A large snipe attempt onto Ikegami, but he's at the water. He can just go into the water, and as long as he has enough interceptors to protect himself, and he's working on Swift Winds now, he can stop any kind of torpedo bomber assault. There is 1 torpedo bomber on the field, but that's going to take an awfully long time to kill off a comm with 40 health a second and 5,000 health total. Ikegami needs to just clear up these Corsairs so we can get back onto land, as Wolfic has managed to get a bit of steady ground, a bit of footing up here to the north. Try and push back against Luntic, who we haven't spoken about much. He's been very much so supportive with his comm in this push. Hasn't really provided very many units, and that's because he's been going for T3 land. And we're seeing bricks start to come out of this factory, and that's the first T3 land we've seen, or maybe not, as Harbingers are on the way over here for Ikegami. And that is going to be very dangerous here in the middle. Going to be difficult for Yurik to hold on against all of this. Yurik now throwing up a fire base to try and stop the overwhelming horde of units coming out from Wolfik and Luntic. Not to mention the gun comms. 5 ranks of veterancy on both of these Cybern comms. They've proved their value. Each of these comms is about as effective as Ikegami was with his. And that's really saying something, because Ikegami got free reign to kill off an entire player's base with just the commander, it felt. Over here in the middle, a few T1 units being scooped up by the Harbinger's cannons. What's the name of the Harbinger gun? I'm curious. The high-intensity laser in this high-intensity game. The fire base over here for Yurik growing. He has a decent number of T2 units, some Rhinos out in the field just try and stop any aggression from the T1 phase. Rhino's really good at dealing with those T1 units. Ping's going down onto the comm of Ikegami that's trying to get back home. There are some Corsairs out onto the field, but that's a lot of Swift Winds. As long as he does just the minimal amount of micro, he should be fine. The Swift Winds could be very dangerous if they manage to kill off maybe this T3 P-Gen or some of the base back here for Yurik. Just try and shut down the economic lead that your opposition has managed to grapple away from you. Ikegami sitting on only 9,000 reclaim, but 184 mass a second. He alone has the more mass generation than all of Team 2. And let's see if he can manage to close it out, because that's the one thing that his team doesn't have right now is map control. He's been forced into a corner, and he needs to be careful with how he approaches the rest of this, because mass income can go far, but not if you're losing and you don't have the unit count, and he's looking very sparse on units. So is Yurik. Yurik is doing a little bit better on a unit count. Of course, it's T2 units, and now there's T3 on the field for multiple players. Right now, Wolfik is just expanding across the map. A lot of Zooies being thrown up here, although I believe this is just going to be killed off by T1 bombers. Yeah, you can use T1 bombers to clean this up pretty cleanly. Clean. John McClean. He's the off-brand version of the guy from Die Hard. He's like Mr. Clean, but in a Die Hard movie. John McClean. Over here to the east, very unfortunate, but Corsairs going down to Swift Winds, although predictable. With the 2 T3 power generators online, Corona coming out, and no, this isn't a virus. It's just the best ASF money can buy. These T1 artillery are going to be able to get into range of this T3 mechs. May see some economic damage going down onto Ikegami, but one T3 mechs is chumps change now for the Cyan Aeon, as he has Strat Bomber onto the field trying to get some damage done. Does manage to drop a bomb onto a brick. Does have some protection for it as well. He has those ASF in tow. Is going to drop a bomb over here. Going to get a kill onto a mechs. I believe that was a T2 mechs. Yes, it was. And he is going to be able to walk away. A Sam almost bringing him to death. Yurik control Ks. Don't know why, but he did. I'm not counting that as a missed comm kill. The only one I missed was Hentai Lover. I didn't miss that one. I don't count control Ks as missing a comm kill, and you shouldn't either. Interceptors might be able to get the kill onto the Shocker, but no, the Shocker shockingly survives, as the T1AA almost assuredly going to get the kill. Oh, that rank of veterancy almost did it, but no, was not quite enough. And that damage really going to show, as Wolfik, he does have a lot of mass extractors on the map, but his team is just behind economically. Now 282 mass a second for Ikegami, who is currently working on a Tsar. We've had donuts recently, and I am enjoying seeing the proliferation of the donut. It is so much fun to see these units go around and be used for good or evil, really. Though it's Aeon, it's always good. They're the good guys. They're the heroes of the story. The Aeon are the heroes. Change my mind. You can't, but, you know, still. Lots of PD being thrown up, and it's going to be really effective. Cerberus, not known for their great fire-basing capabilities, but when you're going up against, you know, just a casual 159 Mantis, yeah, Cerberus are really good. They're not that bad, as Brick's trying to incur damage upon the base of Ikigami. Unfortunately, all they're going to find is death and pain in the form of bombers and artillery, as the Brick not particularly fast, and Strat bombers are. Zar up to 38% and rising. As Zar comes online, there's very little on the field to be able to deal with it. There is T3 air now finished up here in the center of the map for Wolfic. If he can manage to get a significant number of ASF out onto the field, we might be able to see some kind of valid response to that. But with Harbingers, a mass array of Cerberus, and now Ikigami's calm on the front line, these Mantis slated to die upon the altar of war. And a very unfortunate fate for any unit, but more unfortunate whenever you're a T1 unit in 25 minutes. Because you don't even get to do anything before you die. You just kind of die. It's very sad. 50% on the Tsar, rising relatively quickly. Although the number of SAMs also rising. And we have these mobile anti-air as well. 3 mobile anti-air, 4 SAMs. Does Wolfic have any SAMs? Not seeing it. Although he should have an air force of some kind. He has 1 ASF. That ASF is going to need to be a hero. There's a couple of Strat bombers over here to the southeast, or southwest, trying to figure out how lucky they feel. Dropping bombs. Wait, why does Ikigami have this? What? Ikigami still has this from ATP3. There's just nothing to really contest it other than the commanders, and the commanders don't seem to find it worth it to walk up and just kill it off. So Ikigami's gonna have a T2 radar. That's just so interesting to me. Okay. The ASF battle going poorly for Wolfic, as he just doesn't have the economy to outbuild ASF, I would say. Although maybe with the Tsar under production, he has enough economy to compete right now. But he was behind the ball as far as T3 air is concerned. And now with Ikigami having nearly... He has over 100 mass income ahead of his opposition. He is looking very strong in this one. The unit count slowly... I cannot speak today. The unit count slowly raising upward for him. He also has bricks now down here to the south to start pushing back against these forward bases of Luntic and Wolfic. And we have the Tsar completed. And yeah, this is what we're gonna call pain and suffering, because there is nothing on the field right now which can reliably kill a Tsar. There's maybe a few ASF, but the Tsar has enough HP. You need a a very large amount of ASF to kill it off just in a one-pass situation. So this Tsar gonna be able to really open up the front. We have these constant T1 scrimmages going to be going away. Garzonk saying GG for the second time in the past 20 minutes. That very, very poor bouncer going down. And if the Tsar really wants to, can just commit to kill off either that airbase or the main base of Luntic. I don't see anything major going on. There's still that fight going on back there to the west of us, but that's just not going to result in anything but a loss for Wolfic. And now this northern base going to be taken down yet again, as it seems as though Ikegami trying to play a little bit more conservatively with the Tsar, not going to fully commit to one of these bases, realizing there's probably enough AA to deal with it. Although, at a certain point, you have to ask if it's worth it to just commit to the base to get that pancake damage down. If you can take out an HQ or two, you can really slow them down. It takes a minute or two for that HQ to come back online, and that entire minute or two shuts down all production. As the Tsar continues to wreak havoc on the land. Stealth on the way. I'm assuming that's for Ikegami since Lutnik already had it. A Luntik. And yeah, that's a bunch of bouncers. The Tsar may be under some threat because bouncers do have a lot of damage, but it can just fly away. I think it's still faster than the... Wow. T1AA actually getting a decent amount of value onto the Tsar. Well, the Tsar's just going to fly away in shame, and we're going to stop tracking it. Because while it was beautiful while it lasted, does not seem like it's going to result in much. A lot of ASF now building up for Wolfic. Ikegami really not sitting as much on as much ASF as you would think. Has a GC finished. Only has 4 ASF versus Wolfic sitting on 26. If Wolfic knew that, he would be committing to that Tsar the second it comes back over near his territory. And that might be the reason why Ikegami is just not really willing to commit to any kind of large attack with this Tsar. Maybe worth it to try and get your Tsar in over the air grid. If you can manage it, it will be huge. If it gets a rank of veterancy, I'm sure it could stay alive a bit longer. And whenever it dies, it's just going to fall right on top of this, although that's a lot of SAMs. Garzonk says they're making a GC. He's horribly wrong. They've already made one, and there's another one on the way. Does Wolfic know about it? No, he has no idea. 10% on the GC. Well, that's the new one. The already completed one is about 40% the way to your main base. The Tsar still picking off these buildings on the periphery of these bases. The ASF about to commit to the Tsar. Is it going to happen? Really aggressive posturing coming out from Ikegami. Does he know? He should just know. Oh, he doesn't. He doesn't really have a good idea of how many ASF are there. As a GC marches its way through the middle, Ikegami just 1v2ing this game. He's taken this game and decided that he's winning it, regardless of what his opposition wants to say. And the GC gonna be able to just walk down and kill off the airbase. No, this airbase was the only way for Wolfic to get back into the game. He needs the ASF, he needs the protection, but he can't protect himself against the land even at this point. And things have just gone from bad to worse. It's a disaster as the GC stomps its way forward and destroys the airbase that Wolfic had so painstakingly built. The HQ is still around, but may as well not be. ASF coming in for the Tsar. He's committing now because it's now or never. If the Tsar goes down, could be huge. Is the Tsar gonna go down? Is there any anti-air here to help the Tsar? Or is it just the Tsar versus 20-something ASF? Seems as though it was the latter and not the former, as the Tsar goes down and the GC stomps its way into the main base of Wolfic. And this is brutal for Team 2. They've been dismantled at every possible junction now by Ikegami. They had those great pushes in the south, but they weren't able to convert that into a meaningful economic lead. And now with this beautiful Aeon assault bot, things are gonna go from bad to horrid. Although Luntic has managed to build up quite the economy, 210 mass a second, has a Monkey Lord on the way to go fight the GC. All of these T1 bombers not being cleaned up because Ikegami just doesn't really have an air force. He's finished that second GC. It's somewhere. Either that or he reclaimed it, which seems less likely. Am I blind? Either way, GC versus Monkey Lord. Nice thumbnail shot. I think the GC loses this. Yeah, the GC loses this, doesn't it? Yeah. Although the Monkey Lord's not going to live on very much HP. GC was already hurt. And that is... Where is the other GC? I swore... Yeah, I mean, he was building another GC. Yeah, he has another GC somewhere. Where is it? Am I blind? Oh, no, he hasn't finished it. It's right there in the main base. Ah, I opened up the console. Shit. Bricks in the middle, going down. Although they are just really being used to clean things up. And I'm going to speed it up a little bit, because it really seems as though we've hit a bit of a lull as players are building experimentals. We have a second... Or no, we have a nuke launcher. I thought that was a Monkey Lord for a second. Nuke launcher now on the way for Luntic. The second GC finishing up. The Tsar being reclaimed quite quickly, I might add, by Ikegami. Wolfic having a very sad time sitting on 13 mass a second. I think he's probably accepted that the game is over. He's just sending mass over to Luntic, who is trying to get this nuke built quickly. Is there an anti-nuke? Oh, there isn't, is there? Interesting. As over here to the east, we have 5. Number 5 alive. Short Circuit, such a beautiful movie. In fact, let's slow it down. That'll be the thumbnail. Oh, damn it. Alright, you know what? Good enough. It's just a beautiful shot of a GC. And then I can go find the Short Circuit Johnny 5 thing. Alright. Times 10 speed was too much. The Monkey Lord is dead. The second Monkey Lord, though, maybe? I don't know. That seems unlikely. With a rank of veterancy, GC versus Monkey Lord, would assume the GC would win, especially with the rank of veterancy, despite the server spam. Although, not if it walks past the Monkey Lord. Yeah, no, Johnny 5 not alive. Johnny 5 gonna die, but is gonna get the nuke launcher. Will it get the Monkey Lord too? No, there's no way. Okay, well, that's unfortunate. Gonna kill off some of these T3 engineers, though. By some, I mean most. I didn't think it would be even that much. As Megalith now started up. And we go back to kind of waiting. We have now some Rambo SCUs out into the field. Gonna be very difficult to deal with their 40,000 HP shield. And it's like 40,000 HP that regenerates at 120 a second. It's ridiculous. It's like having a nano. Is it 40,000? Yeah, it's 40,000. It's basically like having like a fully upgraded nanocom with full vet. Like, maybe not quite as much. It's not like 200 health a second, but it's enough. And Rambo coms ain't nothing to fuck with. You can see that AoE on their cannon. Really just destroying everything in its path. And there's another one. Another one bites the dust. Ooh, another one bites the dust. And yeah, I'm just gonna say it now. I am pretty sure Team 2 loses. That nuke was a Hail Mary, and now I don't think it would work because, well, he has Rambo SCUs and GCs to throw at you. Okay, maybe I was wrong. These bricks seem to be doing quite well against the, is he power stalling? Oh, he was power stalling, I guess. Shields back up. Does not have as much damage as the Rambo, the Nanocom would have on the Seraphim ACU, I will say. Slow fire rate. That is going to be a dead SCU. Going to take way more effort than should have ever been required, though, to take it down. And there's another one in the main base. Gonna walk into a lot of Cerberus, though. I'm assuming there's a GC. There's a bunch of strap bombers on the field. There's a GC walking around here somewhere. There was one building. Oh, it's up there. Coming down south. Coming down to party. Megalith gonna finish in time, though, and we'll be able to stop the GC. The Rambo SCUs just going around doing their thing, just one at a time, walking in and being absolutely ridiculously annoying. GC walks in, Megalith gonna be firing at it. Gonna be threatening. The base is this GC, but most likely just gonna die at the front doorstep. I mean, is going to be able to stomp its way forward and kill off some hives and maybe a P-Gen. Yeah, it does get a P-Gen. Overall, Luntic's been brought down from 210 mass a second down to 158, and he's really feeling the pain as another Tsar on the way. Laser on the way for Wolfic. Scout's gonna fly over. Seems as though we have a snipe attempt incoming. I'm guessing that Ikigami's just trying to find the comms. Let's see. That's an engineer. Finds Wolfic's comm walking onto land. I'm assuming that's just gonna be the strap bombers coming in. Luntic also gonna be walking onto land. And the Shockers coming in. Shockers having the lowest range means you can dodge them. And manages to dodge the first wave without taking any damage. Wolfic showing us how to dance. As the strap bomber's flying over a bunch of T1AA. He's just waiting so that way he can do another couple of turns, do another set of beautiful maneuvers, dodges those two perfectly as well. Two more come in, but don't drop. Oh, he's taken no damage, or if he has taken damage, he's already healed it from all 5 strap bombers. Oh, torpedo bombers out onto the field can maybe take out the comm of Lutnik. Oh, he just strap bombed his own torpedo bombers. Oh no, this snipe attempt going horribly. Although that might solve it. A Tsar now incoming. Tsar's much harder to dodge than strap bombers of the Aeon. Yet again, Aeon, we nerfed them even more. They used to have the highest damage strap bomber, and now they have a strap bomber that can be dodged. Meanwhile, the Cybran, which only have slightly less damage than the Aeon strap bomber, cannot be dodged. So, Cybran bias, even though we already know that the real balanced team bias is the UEF bias. UEF, way too good. As now the Aeon reign victorious. Both comms going down to the Tsars, and I would like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to everybody who watches and is part of the channel. You all are beautiful. Thank you to the Patreons. They help keep the channel alive. Thank you to the channel members. They do so as well. And consider joining either of those programs, or if you are more interested in a one-time thing, a super thanks is super helpful for the channel. You all are beautiful. I'll see you in the next one. This is Willow, signing off.
never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got